Hey everybody, I have a video here for you today, and we're going to talk about 4 more pyramids in Egypt today, and some of these I will talk about individually and some of them I'll talk about together. And this is an easy one for me to talk about 4 pyramids together just because they're located right in the same spot. This is a small pyramid at Giza, the Menkaure pyramid, and then the 3 small satellite pyramids that are just to the south of it. But here we are going to zoom in, and I have never done a video on the Menkaure pyramid, or I've never talked about it, and I said I was going to talk about the Bend pyramid next, but this is the subject today. And what I found here really surprised me, and I think this is pretty interesting. We look at the large 2 pyramids, mainly at Giza, and then the smaller one just kind of gets forgotten a little bit. But I'm also going to talk about the causeway. And you look at it from overhead, and it looks like, you know, a nice path going down to maybe the ancient shore here. And there are causeways, obviously, up here. And then there's kind of a lost one at Giza in front of the Great Pyramid. And you can see it coming down right here. But these aren't just like walkways. These are huge megastructures. And I'm going to show you that here in just a second. But you can see this massive long causeway coming down here, and it isn't like gone, eroded, it is just buried under the sand. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. Now we are in front of the small pyramid at Giza here, and you notice these megalithic stones that are part of the original temple complex. Some of these are just extremely worn. And how many years or centuries or millennia would it take to wear stones like that? But you notice here part of this original flooring that creates the pathway that goes out to this causeway. It's these huge stones here, and if you look down here, here is that ancient causeway, and it is a massive structure, and it is just buried eventually under the sands of Giza. But it would be so cool if this place was totally excavated so we could get this whole structure in its original form here. And when it's buried, you know, it's staying together in its pretty good form. But these causeways were massive structures, and here is part of the one going down to an ancient shore down here. I just wanted to show you that. And also, what I wanted to show you is this flooring with these massive rocks here. And this is the same as in front of the Great Pyramid and the second pyramid. And also, I'm going to show you something down by the Sphinx. But it has these grooves, and obviously between the rocks, you can see these, how these are individual rocks. But in some areas, and this is what I find most strange, is there are grooves cut into these massive slabs that form this pathway that are maybe for channeling water. And I showed you in front of the Unas pyramid down at Saqqara that they talked about in that one video from Pukaje, that there was grooves cut for water in the flooring down there. And if you notice this groove right here that goes in front here, this isn't between the rocks. This is an ancient groove cut in the flooring that goes here, and then it continues in the next rock, and it continues in the next rock, and you can see how it is one groove. And why would they have channels of water going in front of this? Or what would this be used for? There is a channel, I would say that's maybe 6 inches across, cut down maybe about 4 inches into the rock, and that is continuous. And it goes, and it goes, and who knows how long it would keep on going. This temple, or this little structure out in front, was probably dismantled, and even if the pharaohs in the 4th dynasty built, you know, things out here on the Giza plateau, and the ancient text says that they repaired the Sphinx, and they did work on the pyramids up at the Giza plateau, maybe repairing them a little. But even from that time period, that's what, 4,500 years plus? And what they built in the 4th dynasty would have been dismantled over 4,500 years by many civilizations. They would have reworked what the 4th dynasty has done. Now, something done in prehistory And there are ruins here that they just say, well, they're pre-dynastic, but they only say, you know, Egyptian dynasties started around, you know, 5,000 years ago. But then they say, well, there's earlier ruins, but they're just pre-dynastic, and they don't recognize this time period. So these ruins, original structures, were built, you know, who knows? I would guess maybe about 11,750 years ago. That is just my guess based on what the earliest Egyptians tell us. But I just think this is a fascinating area. And what I'm going to show you behind this pyramid, I think is most fascinating. Now, before I show you behind the small pyramid, I just want to show you this. This is in front of the Sphinx Temple, or the Sphinx Temples, the Valley Temple, and then the Ancient Temple, which is the Temple of Tep-2F, the Temple of Anubis on this hill. But here is that ancient flooring down in front of the Sphinx Temple with these massive blocks. Proof that this whole complex, I think, was built at the same time. And here is the front of this ancient Sphinx Temple. And oh my, I mean, good grief. There is really no explanation for some of these blocks placed up here and the size of them and how exactly they did this. That is just an incredible look there. And these blocks are how they placed them. It's one thing to carve a block this big, but to place it, that just multiplies the difficulty. But that's an incredible look at the front of the Sphinx Temple. But that ancient flooring, it's done up around the Great Pyramid, the Third Pyramid, and in front of the Sphinx Temple. This complex was all built at the same time. Now, we are on the south side, and we're going to look at the three small satellite pyramids really quickly. This one right here, you can back out a little, but this is made with all sorts of different material, and it's just kind of haphazardly put together. You can see a casing stone here, some casing stones down here, and really all sorts of different blocks that are used, some that appear more ancient than others, some obviously put together better than others. Now, were they putting together these with just material that they found on the Giza Plateau and kind of transporting other materials to make these little pyramids? Stuff that was already up here. Looks like ancient flooring used in the bottom of it. That's what it appears to me. But then we go over to this middle pyramid. Let's move up here a little. But this middle small pyramid, this middle satellite pyramid, it's entirely of a different nature. Let me just zoom in here. And this was more mastaba style. It appears that there is, you know, maybe one level down here and then one level right here with just some bricks up on top. And this is all made with much more, it seems, older material and rock of a different type. And geologists or anybody that knows anything about the rock, this appears to be limestone. And then I'm not sure what this appears to be over here. Basalt, maybe? I'm not sure. But these are put together in a different form than this over here. And that appears to be mastaba style. Exactly how they were building funerary chambers in the 4th dynasty. So I have no problem with them building these small pyramids in the 4th dynasty. And maybe reworked a little, repaired the larger pyramids. I have no problem with that, because in the text it says that the temples were clothed and repair work was being done in the 4th dynasty. Now let's go down and look at that final small pyramid. Now here's that final small pyramid, and you see the construction of this pyramid. And were these built just as funerary buildings for wives of the 4th dynasty pharaoh? That's a question, but this one appears to be made of rock of all sorts of different materials, some older stone and some newer stone, and this is not put together very well, or it has been dismantled over thousands of years. But these small pyramids may be put in by the 4th dynasty pharaohs as funerary chambers, and this is what we get from the text that they were doing some building on the Giza Plateau. But when I say original structure, like so-and-so is not responsible for the original structure, well, there's no greater proof of an original structure than at the 3rd pyramid here. And you see, just in ruins at the bottom of a clearly different building material, is this grayer stone, and it is just in ruins all along the base. And these casing stones have strange, perfectly, it seems, drilled grooves in them. And these are in many blocks, and some of these, clearly casing stones of an original temple, and it was dismantled sometime in the past. And the pharaohs from the 4th dynasty were doing building here. Even what they built over the 4,000 years, it's going to be dismantled. Something built, say, 9, 10, 11,000 years ago, and there is a clear pre-dynastic history on the Giza Plateau. These buildings would have been dismantled, and then the buildings of those would have been, that's a lot of time for dismantling to be done. And this appears to be part of an original structure. And let's go around to the other side of the pyramid. Here you see, when I say original structure, that appears to be part of the original structure and what it looked like. And then maybe in the 4th dynasty, or sometime in the past, this building was reworked, and pyramids all over the world, that is the story we get. Cultures come along and build on top of things that were already there. One Mayan pyramid, I believe it's in Chichen Itza, they say it was built over 3 times. But that is a good look. And here you see on these ancient blocks that are made in a much better, maybe earlier style, because simply they're dismantled and part of an original structure, but you have these grooves that, if I can work my computer correctly, those grooves, how would they have been cut in this hard stone? Were they doing this with chisels and hammers? No, there was some ancient technology, and they certainly had a good grasp of it, cutting stone. And here you see more of those grooves, and I am struggling here. But anyway, here you see more of these grooves, and some of these are on the back of the casing stones. There's more up here. Why were these put in here? Was this to line stuff up, or did this have a specific purpose? I'd be curious to know what my subscribers think, and especially people, I know I have some subscribers who work with rocks. But that is a cut groove, and that appears to be ancient high technology. I haven't spoke a lot of that on my channel. Other channels do a lot of that, but when it's right in front of your face, you can't deny it. Perfectly cut grooves. These look like the grooves at the ancient stones at Pumapunku, which are a total mystery. More cut grooves here. Part of an original structure, and the base of this whole complex is the same as at the Great Pyramid and in front of the Sphinx. Clearly, they left part of the original structure in here, maybe to pay homage to their, pre-dynastic past, whoever was building here. But that is a quick look, or maybe a not so quick look, but an important look around the 3rd pyramid. An earlier structure lies in ruins, that is clear. It has groove cuts that I don't see how the ancient Egyptian, the dynastic Egyptians were doing it. But I am open for suggestions. Now here are the descending passages in Menkaura's pyramid. And this is what the underground tombs, subterranean tombs look like. And what is built on top here, were these underground structures even a part of what we see today? Well, these passages lead into the ancient casing stones at the bottom of this pyramid, part of the original structure probably. That is where the descending passages leads into. The passages probably part of the original structure, just because that is what common sense tells us. That is a look at the 3rd pyramid, I believe, based on the flooring. The 3rd pyramid, the 2nd pyramid, and the Great Pyramid were all built at the same time. The same flooring is found in front of the Sphinx Temple. These causeways were all built at the same time. And by the way, the causeways, I think it's pretty simple. This one faces straight east, aligned to the spring equinox sunrise. The middle pyramid, obviously to the winter solstice sunrise. And then this one, to the north, the summer solstice sunrise. Those are the symbolic purposes of all 3 causeways. They're aligned to the rising sun. That is a look at the 3rd pyramid. Some evidence of ancient machining, some mystery grooves in the floor. That massive causeway. Pretty cool site. I should have talked about the third pyramid sooner, but I really need to get going. I'm in big trouble. You all have a very nice day.